All right, here she is. Cindy Blackstock is Executive Director of the First Nations Child and Family Caring Society. Back in the studio 2 days in a row. You heard the minister. What do you want to say to him?
I agree with what the National Chief called on this decision. Beyond disappointing. You know, it just really is disappointing that the government is continuing to not accept responsibility. And more than that, they're saying they have to work with partners. Well, who do they think brought this case? The Assembly of First Nations, which represents all First Nations across the country, and the Caring Society. We've already spoken.
He talks like it's just quibbling over money, but he also seems to want to narrow the number of people in this.
Yeah, you know, like one of the things the tribunal said is their willful and reckless discrimination not only caused the unnecessary family separations, and that was harmful for kids and families, but also child deaths. So when he talks about survivors, some of those children are dead, and some of them will die unless the government reforms itself and stops this discrimination. And that is one of the key things. The tribunal says that discrimination is still happening against these kids.
Yeah, because he made it almost sound like we disagree that there is discrimination now. Is that how you read the ruling? I mean, or the appeal?
You know, in their actual documents, what they found is completely contrary to what he's saying. They don't say in the legal filings that, oh, yeah, we think we should pay compensation. They want the whole order tossed out. And they also say in there that they feel that there's irreparable harm, but not to the children, to the government. They're arguing that this $2 billion, which represents less than 1% of the federal budget, is somehow irreparable harm to the government. And they want to collect legal costs against organizations that oppose them, including mine, which has 2 full-time employees and lots of teddy bears. And they want us to pay their legal costs.
Okay, great. I just sort of look at this as a reconciliation backpedal almost, isn't it?
It really is, because, you know, when that decision came down, I was contacted by some parents who had lost their children, who had critical health needs that weren't responded to, and the children passed away. And what they were saying is that this was an acknowledgement of what they lost, a small acknowledgement of what they had lost. Or youth in care, who had lost their childhoods, but finally would get enough money to go to post-secondary. And now the government's saying for some of these hogwash reasons that we need to talk to more people. Are you kidding me? These kids and these families deserve justice right now.
You know, he wouldn't bite there, but he keeps talking about, oh, this decision just came down 3 days before the election writ. How many times has this been decided and ignored?
This is a 10th order.
10th.
And this case has been going on for nearly 13 years. So this did not sneak up on them. They knew about the compensation order. It was under reserve from 2013. We repeatedly invited the federal government to resolve this by mediation. They refused. They said the only way to deal with it is at litigation. And then when we were at litigation, they argued no kids were really harmed. And if there were kids harmed, you should have brought in your 5- and 6-year-olds to testify about that. I mean, it was bizarre. And now they're saying, oh, well, we just got the order and now we want to talk to you. Well, since the order was released on September 6th till now, we've not been given the name of one federal official who will talk to us.
And Seamus said he's been working on the phones to get in touch with all the Aboriginal leaders or First Nations leaders. Did he call you?
No.
Aren't you the person that would be first on top of the speed dial, I would think?
Well, probably second to, like, Perry Bellegarde, but I would hope I'd be there. But no, I actually wrote a letter to the minister back in January asking to meet, and there was no meeting.
How do you characterize what's going on here? Because this is a government that Indigenous reconciliation was going to be their first commandment. This was something they did put a lot of money into, yet when it comes to kids taken out of their homes and put in foster care, they just seem to run into a wall of resistance. I don't understand it.
I don't get it either, you know? And I don't believe in the goodness of people, and I'm always an optimist, right? So when they came into power and they said, oh, Truth and Reconciliation Commission, I thought, whew, no more going to court. But their conduct has been completely contrary to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And what is disappointing to me is seeing them use political statements that really try to put themselves off as being the good guys and suggesting that it's we from the bottom, the ground up, as the minister said, who have not really proposed solutions and haven't given us some thought, where we've given it significant thought. And what we want now is justice for these families.
It's kind of interesting. The election's on the 21st of October. I guess there's another court date 2 days after that?
Yeah, the federal government has said, we want to see you in court on the 23rd because we want to put this tribunal decision on hold. And by the way, we want you to pay our legal costs.
Any idea what that would be?
I have no idea. But I'm prepared to sell as many teddy bear books as I need to because, you know, like, these justice for these kids matters, and whatever it costs, we're prepared to pay it.
All right. Well, I'll probably see you again by the sounds of it. I thought maybe this issue had been put behind us, but
I
clearly
hope so,
not.
too.
All right, Cindy Blackstock, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate
you.
that.